I'm Gianna, and I'm so glad that you joined us today to chat about books. We are going to talk about books that include an element of nature and an element of family. These books are a lot of fun, and if you have anything that you want to add to the discussion, please hop over to Facebook and find the FFTC BookHounds group. Now let's get started. Okay, so my first book is by Richard Scarry. My kids and I fight over how to say this. They say scary, I say Scarry. Tomato, tomato. I think he's dead. Is he dead? These were books when I was a kid. I don't remember this book as a child myself, but it was one of our oldest daughter's first books that she received, and it got beaten up and they got a new one. Yes, it was written in 1963, or published in 1863. I love this book. I love that the bunny's name is Nicholas. I love how it goes through all of the seasons. I love the illustrations. And it's a great book talking about your different nature things you can see. So any season you can be like, oh, do you remember Nicholas? He liked to lie in the sun, and what did he do? And you can lie in the sun with your kiddos, and you can watch the birds or watch the clouds. Which brings me to the next one. So you can lie in the sun and watch the clouds if there are clouds. And you could see if you can find any pictures in the clouds. I'm not thinking that you are going to find pictures like this. But I guess you never know, right? You might find a picture like a clown. I think I've seen an alligator. That was pretty fun. This one you might find a hat. So that could be something fun as well. This is not a rhyming book at all, but it is another quiet book. And it's really fun. And then I think, it starts to rain. So you can talk about how clouds carry rain. Clouds are basically rain, right? I think is beautiful. I absolutely think it's gorgeous. But I would have a hard time reading it out loud because I really, really need words. And this book has no words. It's called A Boy, a Dog, and a Frog. And I believe there are more than just one. It's kind of like a little series. But this is by Mercer Meyer. And I love Mercer Meyer. He's got some great books. He's got the Little Critter books. On the back of this particular book, it says, the funny pictures in this book tell a funny story. There are no words. You can make up your own words. If you want to, write your story on a piece of paper. Tape the words under the pictures in your book. Fantastic. You are writing. You are using your brain and being imaginative. And you are giving the story a story with words. Like, this kid is so cute. Okay, I'm going to try to show you him. It looks like his pants are falling down, but really, he's wearing his dad's boots. They're just that big. This is a great story. So, this one's next. This is the National Geographic Kids series. And I actually know somebody who works with these guys. But it's not Gail Tuchman. This is just an example. This one is called Safari. And what they do is they show you really awesome pictures. And it's not all nature. I mean, it's National Geographic, so it's culture and all kinds of stuff like that. But there are some really pretty nature ones. And this is, I think the pictures are fantastic. With this one, what you could do if you wanted to is pick out one of the animals, like let your child pick out one of the animals, and you could pick out one of the animals, and you could try to draw it. In fact, I will show you one fun way to draw a lion. you want to draw a line on the top and then go down a little ways and draw a longer line at the bottom. Then you connect those with kind of a rounded look to them, and then you give them little ears up here. Just little circles are just fine, and they can touch or they don't have to. That's fine. Now, this is the most important part, because you see this lion? This lion is lame. Do you see that lion? He's a lot cuter. You want to know why? His nose. So let's make his nose like this. Make it nice and long and flat. See? Then you put 2 little dots above that for eyes. Like right above it. So far I think he looks like a bear, but we're gonna get there. And then we draw that little line down, and then we give him a cute little smile and draw 2 little lines, like pretty much on top of each other, but coming out a little ways. See that? Now, he looks like a bear. How are we gonna change him to look like a lion? You guys all know. This is the final touch. You gotta give him a big mane. And isn't he cute? Got Frog and Toad. Now, these are all the nature books that I'm going through, okay? Frog and Toad are friends. Frog and Toad together. These were written by Arnold Lobel. I think he's still around. And these were published in 1971 and 1970. It's called Fairy Houses, and it's by Tracy Kane. It was published in 2001. So it's about 15 years old. But it's beautiful. What happens in this story is this family takes a vacation out in the country, I think in Maine, on a small island in Maine. See, there they are going out to the island. And while they're on this island, the little girl, I don't think she's ever named. So the family takes a vacation together, and they encourage this little girl to go exploring. And while she's in the woods exploring, she comes upon this. And there's a sign that reads, "You may build houses small and hidden for the fairies, but please do not use living or artificial materials." And it's just so cute. This has transformed my girls. I am not even kidding you. And it goes through her fairy house and how she goes every day to check her fairy house, to build it a little bit more. And she always just wants to find a fairy. They are all available on Amazon if you are interested. I can't guarantee that they're at your library because they might be out of print. Not all of them are out of print, but some of them might be. But I did find them on Amazon. So if you are interested in a book and you can't find it at your library, definitely check out Amazon. And there will be links on the show notes. So you can just use those and you will benefit Family Fun Twin Cities just a little bit without adding any extra cost to you. A Mother for Choco is by Kiko Kaza. I love Kiko Kaza. She's written many books that I love. This talks about how Choco goes looking for a mother. And she can't find anybody, or is it a he? He can't find anybody who looks just like him. He finds somebody who's yellow, he finds somebody with big cheeks, he finds somebody with feathers, but he doesn't find somebody, or wings or something, but he doesn't find anybody that looks just like him, and so nobody can be his mother until he comes across Mrs. Bear. And Mrs. Bear finds him crying because he can't find his mother. And she goes, "Well, I could be your mother." And he says, "But you don't look like me at all." And she says, "Well, I would look kind of funny if I looked like you, don't you think?" And he agrees. And then they go home, and he meets all of her other children, and it's super special, and it's super kind. Okay, now we're going to go very classic, like even more classic than Frog and Toad and Mercer Meyer. And those are classics. We are going to Heidi. I read this book to my kids and I loved it just as much as they did. This is the abridged version, and there are illustrations in here. But there's like, look at this. Tons and tons of words. So it's not like it's a real picture book, but there are illustrations so that you can capture their attention a little bit. But yeah, seriously. This is definitely a read aloud together on your lap. But like when I read this to my girls, like, and this is pretty. I remember reading Fräulein Rottenmeier. I'm like, oh, I forgot about Fräulein Rottenmeier. I don't love Fräulein Rottenmeier. The whole point is not to love Fräulein Rottenmeier. But I love her name. She's got the best name, Fräulein Rottenmeier. But Heidi lives in Switzerland on the mountains with her grandpa and a couple of friends, and living in the city with a family who's got a little girl named Clara. And I think Clara can't walk. I think that's what's wrong with Clara. And so she needs a companion, or her parents decide she needs a companion. And Fräulein Rottenmeier doesn't like Heidi, because if she liked her, there would be no conflict, right? But you see how Clara and Heidi grow close, and how Heidi misses her grandfather and wants just to go home, even though she loves Clara, because family is important, and her grandfather is her family. We've got Emmy and the Incredible Shrinking Rat by Lynn Janelle. And it's illustrated by Jonathan Bean. Jonathan Bean! Who is amazing! He's like, I think he's gotten Caldecott Awards. And if he hasn't, he should. He's illustrated a lot. But Lynn Janelle is from Minnesota. And she lives probably like 35 minutes away from me on a good traffic day without construction. I love Lynn Janelle. Her books are incredible. This series has 3 books. There's Emmy and the Incredible Shrinking Rat, and then Emmy and the Home for Troubled Girls, and the last one is Emmy, Rats in the Belfry. And we are going to have Lynn Janelle on BookHounds fairly soon here, so you can be on the lookout for that interview. It'll be super fun. It's a classic. It was published in 1962. I'm giving you lots of old books, aren't I? The newest one is Emmy, and I love Emmy. It's by Madeleine L'Engle, and it's A Wrinkle in Time. The reason why I picked this one is it is super fantasy, and it is super not really about physical nature so much as it's about a theoretical law of nature. But Meg is the main character, and it's really all about their family. I can't think of anything to do with this book except to enjoy it. There you have it. A whopping load of books full of family and nature. Please go over to our BookHounds page on Facebook, FFTC BookHounds. I will have a link in the show notes for you, and you can join our conversation there. It is a closed group, so we will have to admit you in, but if you want to come in, you are more than welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today for BookHounds, and we look forward to seeing you and chatting with you in the Facebook group in the future. Bye. I am a bunny. My name is Nicholas. I live in a hollow tree. In the spring, I like to pick flowers. I chase the butterflies, and the butterflies chase me. In the summer, I like to lie in the sun and watch the birds. And I like to watch the frogs in the pond. When it rains, I keep dry under a toadstool. I think this is my favorite. I blow the dandelion seeds into the air. In the fall, I like to watch the leaves falling from the trees. I watch the animals getting ready for the winter.